My name is Robert, and I'm 68 years old. You see, 3 months ago, I got the call, stage 3 colon cancer. The doctor's office was cold, sterile. I remember staring at this chart on the wall about the digestive system while Shim explained treatment options, survival rates, all of it. And you know what went through my mind? Not fear, not anger, just a strange thought. So this is how my story ends. But here's what nobody tells you about getting news like that. The first week you're numb. You tell your family. You make appointments. You research treatments. You're in survival mode. Honestly, it's the second week when it hits you. Really hits you. I woke up one morning, looked at my wife sleeping next to me, and I started crying. Not because I was scared of dying. I was crying because I suddenly saw my entire life laid out in front of me like a map, and I could see all the places I took wrong turns. I spent 35 years as an insurance adjuster. 35 years. I was good at it, made decent money, provided for my family, retired with a pension. But here's the truth. I never admitted until cancer forced me to look at it. I hated it. Not every day, but most days. I hated the cubicles, the endless claim files, the quota meetings, the corporate restructuring. You know, I stayed because it was safe, because it paid the bills, because that's what responsible adults usually do, right? When I was 25, I wanted to be a photographer. I loved capturing moments, telling stories through images. My uncle taught me when I was a teenager. We developed prints together in his darkroom when I was 14, and I still have those first photos in an album. But photography doesn't pay well. It's not stable. So I went into insurance because my mother said it was practical. And you know what? She was right. It was practical. It just wasn't mine. Now, I'm not saying everyone should quit their job and follow some dream. That's not realistic advice. You see, bills have to get paid. Kids need shoes. I get it. But what I am saying is this. There's a difference between making a living and making a life. And most of us, we get so caught up in making a living part that we forget about the other half entirely. After my diagnosis, something shifted. My oncologist laid out this aggressive treatment plan, chemotherapy, possible surgery, the whole deal. And I agreed to it, obviously. But I also went up to my spare bedroom, cleared out 20 years of accumulated storage, and set up a proper darkroom, bought some good equipment, started shooting again for the first time in decades. My wife thought I'd lost my mind. Robert, he said, shouldn't you be resting, conserving your strength? And maybe he had a point. The chemo makes me tired. Honestly, some days I can barely get out of bed. But on the days I can work, even just for an hour or two, I feel more alive than I have in years. Last week, I finished a photo series of my grandson, black and white portraits with natural lighting. It's not perfect. My hands shake more than they used to, but it's real. It's something I made. Here's what cancer teaches you that nothing else can. You don't have unlimited time to become the person you want to be. You think you do. When you're young, 40 years seems infinite. Even at 50, at 60, you tell yourself, there's still time, there's always tomorrow. But sometimes tomorrow doesn't come. Or it comes with an expiration date stamped on it. I've been thinking a lot about regret lately. Not the big dramatic regrets like cheating on my wife or committing some crime. I never did anything like that. It's the quiet regrets that haunt you. The art gallery openings I skipped because I was tired. The times my kids asked me to take their picture, and I said maybe later because I had work to finish. You know, The cross-country trips my wife wanted to take that I postponed because we should save money. All those little moments where I chose a safe, practical, responsible option over the living option. My daughter came to visit last month. She's 42 now, works in marketing. We were sitting in my darkroom, and I was showing her how to adjust exposure properly, and she said something that broke my heart. She said, "Dad, I didn't know you could do this. I wish you'd taught me when I was a kid." And the thing is, I wish I had, too. But I was too busy working overtime, too busy being responsible, too busy in preparing for a future that I thought would last forever. Here's the thing. Nobody wants to admit we're all terminal. Every single one of us. Some of us just have a clearer timeline than others. That sounds morbid, but it's not. It's actually liberating once you accept it. It means every choice you make today matters. Not someday, today. You know what the strangest part about having cancer is? People start treating you differently. They get this careful tone, this pity in their eyes. They say things like, "Stay strong and you've got this." And I appreciate it. But sometimes I want to tell them, you should be asking yourself these questions too. Not waiting for a diagnosis to force you to. I'm not cured. The doctors are cautiously optimistic, but it's still touch and go. I might have 5 years. I might have 10. I might have 6 months. Nobody knows. But listen, I'll tell you what's changed. I don't waste time on things that don't matter anymore. I don't argue about politics with my cousin. I don't stress about the stock market. I don't care if the neighbor's car is nicer than mine. Instead, I work in my darkroom. I have long conversations with my wife where we actually listen to each other. I call my kids not to give advice, but just to hear their voices. I teach my grandson how to frame a shot properly, how to see the light, how to be patient with your vision. You see, these are small things. They won't change the world, but they're changing my world, and that's all I've got. If you're listening to this and you're thinking, well, that's nice for Robert, but I can't just quit my job and become a photographer. You're missing the point. I'm telling you to look at your life. Really look at it and ask yourself, am I living or am I just existing? There's this moment in chemotherapy about 2 hours in where the drugs really start hitting your system. Your mouth gets this metallic taste. Your body feels heavy. And in those moments, I don't think about my career or my retirement account. I think about my wife's smile. I think about the smell of photochemicals. I think about my daughter falling asleep on my shoulder during a road trip. Honestly, these are the things that matter. Everything else is just noise. You might be watching this and thinking, I'm being dramatic because I'm sick. Maybe you're right, but I don't think so. I think I'm finally being honest in a way I never let myself be before. For 68 years, I played by the rules. I did what was expected. I was a good employee, a good husband, a good father. But I wasn't always good to myself. I didn't honor the things that made me who I really am. My uncle told me something when I was young that I didn't understand until now. He said, "Robert, at the end of your life, nobody's going to care how many claims you process." I thought he was just being cynical, maybe a little bitter, but he was trying to tell me something important. He was trying to tell me to live. If there's anything I want you to take from this, it's this. Don't wait for cancer or a heart attack or some other crisis to give yourself permission to live the life you actually want. You don't need permission. You already have it. The question is whether you'll use it. I started chemotherapy on a Tuesday. On that Saturday, despite feeling terrible, I went up to my darkroom and started a new project, a portrait series of my wife, documenting our life together. Will I finish it? I don't know. but I'm going to try because trying is what matters. Showing up for the things that make you feel human is what matters. Some of you watching this are in jobs you hate. Some of you are in relationships that don't fulfill you anymore. You know, some of you have dreams you put in a drawer 20 years ago and told yourself you'd get back to them someday. And that someday keeps getting pushed further and further away. Stop pushing it. Start today. Not tomorrow. Not next year. Today. I'm not going to stand here and tell you that following your dreams will solve all your problems or that everything will work out if you just believe hard enough. Life doesn't work like that. But what I will tell you is that living with intention, even when it's hard, even when it's scary, beats them sleepwalking through existence every single time. My prognosis isn't great, but it's not hopeless either. Maybe I'll beat this thing. Maybe I won't. Either way, I'm spending whatever time I have left doing things that matter to me with people I love, creating things with my vision. That's more than a lot of people can say. Even people who are perfectly healthy. And by the way, if you're interested in this topic, I'd recommend 3 books that really open my eyes. When Breath Becomes Air by Paul Kalanithi, The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying by Bronnie Ware, and Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. Read them. They'll change how you think about time and purpose. On this channel, myself and others share life advice and memories from our experiences. If you found this valuable, consider subscribing and turning on notifications. And if you resonate with any of this, leave a comment. Tell me what you're going to start doing differently. Hit that like button. Share this with someone who needs to hear it, because I've got more to say while I still can. If you've got your own story to share, something you think people should hear, go ahead and fill out that form in the description. The next video could be yours.